I wish Sheldon and Amy had never broken up. I wish they'd kept their infatuation with each other going strong and never shown any doubt from Amy. Am I alone? Keep watching for more details. Hi guys, what's up? My name is Sophia. Welcome back to my channel. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Don't miss the main topic of this video. So let's start. I agree with you completely here. The timing of the breakup made far more sense at the end of Season 8 than Season 7. At the end of Season 7, he was a mess and needed to figure out a lot of things. The strain had finally gotten to him. There was a lot of people angry that he had said goodbye to Leonard and Penny and not Amy. What they somehow failed to remember was that Leonard tracked Sheldon down and they went to find him. Sheldon had no intention of talking to anyone before he got on the train. Once he came back, he was in a much better place mentally, and that allowed a lot of the good things that happened during Season 8. But for as much as Sheldon and Amy talked about a lot of topics, there were still some things that weren't. Amy had no idea of how committed Sheldon was to her, and he still didn't make her as high of a priority as he should. The breakup was necessary for both of them to figure their relationship out. As they later agreed, it was much stronger after they were back together. For her part, Amy found her voice with him. Right after they first met, both of them were very direct with one another. But once they officially were boyfriend and girlfriend, she lost some of that. At first, it seemed that she loved the idea of having a boyfriend. It was one of those things she had missed out on. But she also had ideas of what a traditional romance should look like. It also seemed as if she was afraid to voice her feelings for fear that she would scare him away. She referred to him as a flight risk long before the train trip. What she failed to realize is just how committed to her that he was. When she asked him if the Flash was the big commitment issue he was wrestling with, it was. He didn't have doubts about his feelings for her. For his part, Sheldon is self-centered. He didn't think about Amy's feelings. He needed her to tell him when she was upset. She had quit doing that, and he thought that all was well. Sure, they had some disagreements along the way, but in general things seemed fine to him. He needed the wake-up call. It was all of that hurt that got him to finally take her feelings into consideration. Once they were back together, it was much easier to see that they had fixed a lot of what was wrong. Sheldon still was self-centered, but he caught himself at it and corrected his own behavior much more than before. Amy knew that he wasn't going to go anywhere. He never had been a flight risk from that relationship. They both finally allowed themselves to be vulnerable to the other and trust in each other. That was the part that had been missing between them. Amy went back to being far more direct with Sheldon, and he didn't take their relationship or Amy for granted again. When the show aired in real time, there were viewers who had a tough time watching the beginning of Season 9. They didn't want to watch those episodes again, but they have some of the most emotional scenes in them. During that time, there's an interview done while they were working on the episode where Sheldon wanted to go back to 2003. In it, they are talking to Jim and Mayim about the breakup. They both were ready for Sheldon and Amy to get back together again. On a side note, back when it aired in real time, Mayim had very little time on screen in the last couple of episodes before the Season 8 final. In real life, her father had died, and the writers went light on her appearance while that happened. From the taping reports that came back, the opening scene from the episode, when both Leonard and Sheldon's moms come, was actually taped the same night as the Season 8 final. That worked with the storyline. It made it appear that she and Sheldon weren't spending as much time together as normal. It was heartbreaking to watch them break up, but seeing their friendship they made in the aquarium episode was fun to watch. But TBA, one of my favorite episodes is the earworm reverberation. It shows so much growth for Sheldon. He has an eidetic memory, so for him to have a song stuck in his head, and he, the brilliant Sheldon, can't remember the song, makes Sheldon realize how much he loves Amy. Also, Stephen Merchant is back and so funny in this episode. When Sheldon knocks on the door, his reaction that Sheldon is outside is hilarious. "How's my hair?" And he has the best line in the show, "Kiss her, you brilliant fool." I laugh every time. I think Sheldon needed it. 'Cause if everything will always go on his way, I think he'll just stay the same. Taking everything for granted, using people as a tool for his advantage, and not appreciating them for staying by his side. It makes sense for him he needed to learn the hard way. I found it heartbreaking, but I think it was necessary. Apparently, a fair hashtag of people who watched the show in real time were annoyed that the breakup happened at the end of season 8, because Amy and Sheldon had made some real progress in that season. The prom I love yous, the sweet ending to the Cookies Xmas episode, the conflict and resolution in the Mars episode, their first sleepover in the fort. The feeling among those viewers was that it would have made more sense for Amy to step back after Sheldon's train adventure in season 7, because of the way he treated her when he left and right after he returned. But I figure the very fact that they were making progress in season 8 was what frustrated Amy. It was so many steps forward, and then suddenly, to her, they were going in reverse again. And Sheldon needed to learn some tough lessons. He basically said himself that the pain of losing Amy taught him how important she was to him. And it taught Amy a few important lessons too, I think. So I feel like it had to happen, but for me it was certainly painful to watch, and I definitely suffered along with them both. Pragmatically speaking though, we did get some really good episodes out of it. Great acting from Jim and Mayim too. I think it was an attempt at realism and a chance for Sheldon to choose to change without Amy constantly tricking and scheming. She was rightfully exhausted and undeserving of so much backlash from him. I don't think the writers could have come up with a better way to demand that growth from Sheldon, while also showing that Amy moved past Zila's infatuation and knew what she was worthy of and would continually choose to love him anyways. Plus, Bernie the spy was great.